Gratitude is beautiful. It softens the heart and opens the eyes. It reminds us that life, even in its simplest forms, holds quiet gifts. But sometimes, gratitude feels complicated. Because you can look at your life and see the blessings, still feel like you are falling apart inside. People often tell you to just be grateful, as if gratitude is a cure for grief, as if thankfulness can erase pain. But life is rarely that simple. Two truths can exist at once. You can be grateful and still hurting. You can hold joy in one hand and sadness in the other. Neither cancels the other out. This is the complexity of being human, the ability to carry contradictions, the capacity to live in tension without breaking. Maybe you've whispered to yourself, I should be happy, because others have it worse. Because you don't want to sound ungrateful. But comparing pain doesn't make it lighter. Silencing struggle doesn't make it disappear. It only buries it deeper. Gratitude is not meant to be a prison. It's not meant to shame you into silence. It's not meant to make you feel guilty for hurting. Gratitude and pain can sit side by side, like sunlight streaming through rain, like laughter in the middle of tears. You don't have to choose one over the other. You don't have to erase your sorrow to honor your joy. You don't have to deny your blessings to name your wounds. Healing is not about perfect positivity. It's not about wearing a mask of happiness. It's about learning to breathe inside contradictions. You can be thankful for your family and still ache from loneliness inside. You can be grateful for your job and still feel overwhelmed and burnt out. You can be grateful for your health and still wrestle with hidden emotional pain. You can be grateful for today and still long for something more. Gratitude is real, yes, but so is struggle. Both deserve to be spoken. Gratitude says, I see the good. Struggle says, I feel the weight. Together, they say I am fully alive. This is not weakness. It is wholeness. Well, the ability to embrace life as it is complex, layered, real. The world may tell you, choose one. Either be positive or be negative. Either celebrate or complain. But you are not meant to flatten your humanity into extremes. You are meant to live in the middle space, where gratitude and grief coexist, where joy and sorrow intertwine, where being human is allowed to be messy, where your truth doesn't have to fit into clean categories. Sometimes gratitude feels like light. Sometimes struggle feels like shadow. But together, they form depth. Imagine a painting without contrast. Only one color, one shade. It would lose its beauty. Your life is the same. Its beauty comes not from perfection, but from contrast, from tension, from truth. You are not failing if you can't smile all the time. You are not ungrateful if you admit you're tired. You are not broken if you feel both joy and sorrow in the same breath. Gratitude and struggle are not enemies. They are companions. They walk beside each other, shaping you quietly. The world may not understand this nuance, but your soul does. Your body knows how to carry contradiction. It's okay if you don't feel only grateful. It's okay if the struggle is loud. This doesn't mean gratitude is gone. Gratitude doesn't erase pain. Pain doesn't erase gratitude. They can live together in one heart. And maybe that is the most honest kind of living. Not forced positivity, not forced despair, but a soft, complicated truth. One that says, I am thankful. And also says, I am hurting. Both belong. Both matter. Both are real. And when you allow yourself to hold both, you give yourself permission to be fully human, fully honest, fully alive. In the morning, you wake up and whisper thank you for a new day, but your body still feels heavy. The gratitude is real, and so is the exhaustion. You sip coffee and savor its warmth. The small comfort feels like a gift, yet your mind is already racing with worry. You notice the sunlight through the window. Its golden glow makes you pause. And still, your chest holds quiet ache. Gratitude lives in the details, a kind word, a breath of fresh air. But struggle weaves through the details too. A deadline pressing, a conversation that lingers heavy. You're grateful for work, for the chance to contribute. Some days you're just tired of trying. You're grateful for friends, for their presence and laughter. Sometimes you still feel alone in a crowded room. You're grateful for family, for roots, for belonging. But even there, misunderstandings ache. Gratitude says, I am lucky to have this. Struggle says, and yet I still feel something missing. Both voices are true. You may feel guilty for the missing part. Guilty for wishing things were easier. Guilty for not being endlessly content. But guilt doesn't belong here. Because gratitude is not meant to silence your needs. It's meant to highlight the beauty while you still honor the ache. You can laugh at dinner and cry alone afterward. Both moments are real. You can say, I'm thankful for my health, and still admit your soul is tired. This doesn't make you ungrateful. Gratitude does not erase longing. Longing does not erase gratitude. They dance together in the rhythm of your days. Sometimes gratitude feels like a soft blanket. Sometimes struggle feels like a stone in your chest. Both can exist in the same evening. You don't have to explain away the stone just because you have the blanket. You don't have to deny your warmth just because the weight is there. You're allowed to carry both. Think of all the at least phrases you've heard. At least you have a job. At least you're healthy. At least you're not alone. At least things aren't worse. These phrases are meant to comfort, but often they won't, because they erase the complexity. They reduce your truth to a single shade. Gratitude becomes a weapon when it's forced, when it's demanded, not invited, when it's used to silence rather than soothe. But gratitude offered freely is soft. It doesn't shame. It simply coexists. In your daily life, you already live this coexistence, smiling at a sunset while carrying quiet sorrow, laughing with a friend while nursing unspoken pain. The duality doesn't mean you're broken. It means your heart is wide enough to hold both. Some days, gratitude is loud. The blessings shine brighter than the weight. Other days, struggle is louder. You may wonder if the gratitude has disappeared, but it hasn't. It's just resting in the background. Gratitude doesn't vanish when struggle rises. Struggle doesn't disappear when gratitude surfaces. They ebb and flow like tides. You live in the in-between. It's a space where gratitude whispers and struggle sighs. And that space is still holy, still worthy, still alive with meaning. You don't need to wait until life is easy to feel thankful. And you don't need to wait until gratitude is gone to admit your struggle. Both can walk with you into the same day. Gratitude makes the light visible. Struggle makes the light necessary. Together, they form the texture of living. In daily life, you carry both. Gratitude in your pockets, struggle in your chest, and somehow they belong together. Somehow they make your story honest. Somehow they make you whole. Gratitude is not lost in the presence of struggle. Struggle is not proof that gratitude is fake. Both are true. Both are yours. To live with gratitude and struggle is to live with honesty. It means you no longer split yourself into good and bad. You accept that your story has both light and shadow. Many people will ask you to choose, to focus only on the positive, to silence the ache for the sake of appearances. But wholeness does not come from silencing. Wholeness comes from integration, from allowing every part of you to be seen. Gratitude says, life has given me gifts, struggle says, and some wounds still remain. Both voices are part of your truth. You do not betray gratitude by acknowledging your pain. You do not betray your struggle by noticing the beauty. Both are faithful companions. Imagine a tree standing tall in winter, its branches bare, its roots deep. The tree is not less alive because it holds no leaves. Life is still moving quietly beneath the surface. Gratitude is the roots. Struggle is the bare branches. Together they tell the whole story. Together they make the tree complete. To live with both is to trust that being human is not a mistake. To honor the contradictions in your own soul. To let yourself breathe without choosing sides. Gratitude says, I am thankful for this breath. Struggle says, this breath is hard to take. And yet both are true in the same moment. Sometimes the world will label you negative, simply because you refuse to deny your pain. But naming your pain is not negativity. It is courage. It is integrity. It is the path toward healing. Gratitude whispers that life is still worth noticing. Struggle whispers that you still need gentleness. Both whispers deserve to be heard. If you silence one, you silence yourself. If you deny one, you fracture your soul. To live fully is to let both voices speak. Gratitude keeps you connected to hope. Struggle keeps you connected to humanity. Together, they keep you real. Sometimes the gratitude is loudest. Sometimes the struggle is louder. Both deserve their turn. Life is not measured by how often you feel grateful or by how little you struggle. It is measured by how honestly you allow yourself to be here. Being human is messy. It is layered. It is not a performance of perfection. Gratitude doesn't need to look polished. Struggle doesn't need to look dignified. Both can simply exist as they are. To live with both is to accept that joy and sorrow can share the same table, that you can raise a glass to the light while still acknowledging the shadows at your feet. This tension is not failure. It is a sign that you are awake, that you are living with an open heart. Gratitude says this is enough. Struggle says I still long for more. Both truths sit side by side. You are not weak for carrying both. You are strong in the quietest way, strong enough to be real. Living with both is not a contradiction. It is a deeper kind of coherence, a wholeness that doesn't erase your humanity. To feel gratitude is to bow to beauty. To feel struggle is to honor the ache. Both are sacred acts. Gratitude anchors you to what is good. Struggle reminds you of what is still tender. Both keep you grounded. You live with both, you begin to see life differently. You notice the little joys. And you hold space for the unspoken pain. This makes you softer. This makes you kinder. Because you know the world holds both too. Gratitude teaches you to cherish. Struggle teaches you to endure. Together, they teach you how to live. To live with both is to walk gently. To offer compassion to others, because you know their hearts hold the same tension. This duality doesn't make you less whole. It makes you fully human. It makes your life textured, real, alive. Gratitude and struggle are not enemies. They are companions. They help you hold the weight of existence. And in this coexistence, you find quiet freedom. The freedom to stop choosing one truth over the other. The freedom to be exactly where you are. Resistance makes pain heavier, turns natural feelings into battles. It convinces you that you must fight yourself. But you are not your enemy. Your sadness is not your failure. Your struggle is not your weakness. Healing begins when you stop resisting, when you let sadness breathe, when you allow struggle to have a voice. Acceptance is not giving up. It is choosing to stop running. It is choosing to sit with yourself as you are. Imagine sadness as a visitor, knocking softly on your door, not to destroy you, but to be seen. You do not have to push it away. You can open the door slowly. You can say, I see you. Come in. At first it feels frightening, like sadness will take over everything. Most of the time it only wants acknowledgement. Resistance keeps emotions stuck. Acceptance lets them move through, like rain that finally falls after heavy clouds. You don't need to fix sadness. You don't need to justify it. You only need to honor it. Gratitude can sit at the same table. They don't cancel each other out. They make the meal more whole. Resistance whispers, you shouldn't feel this. Acceptance replies, but I do, and that's okay. This is the gentle shift. Allowing yourself to feel what is real, without judgment, without rushing. To soften is to release the armor. To unclench the fists you've held against your own heart. To let yourself rest in the truth. Sadness does not destroy you. It deepens you, shows you where tenderness lives. When you resist, you feel alone. When you accept, you feel connected. To yourself, to the world, to others who struggle too. Acceptance opens the window, letting light and air flow in. Resistance keeps the shutters closed. So the more you fight sadness, the louder it grows. The more you allow it, the quieter it becomes. It no longer needs to scream to be noticed. Acceptance is not a single moment. It is a practice, a slow, steady returning. Each time you soften, you heal a little more. Each time you allow, you breathe a little deeper. Each time you stop resisting, you reclaim a piece of peace. This is how sadness transforms, not by erasure, but by companionship. Sit with sadness as you would a friend. Offer it a chair. Offer it silence. Sometimes nothing needs to be said. Sometimes the act of presence is enough, and the heaviness begins to loosen. Gratitude can watch quietly. Not to replace sadness, but to remind you that beauty still exists alongside it. This is the freedom of acceptance. You don't have to choose one truth. You can hold both in your hands. Resistance says, life must look different. Acceptance says, life is allowed to be what it is. Somehow that makes it lighter. Acceptance doesn't mean liking the pain. It means respecting its reality. It means letting yourself belong even in sadness, because you do belong. Even when you're not smiling. Even when you're not strong. To soften into acceptance is to stop hiding from yourself. To say, this, too, is me. This, too, is part of being human. You don't have to force joy. You don't have to deny sorrow. You can rest between them. The tension begins to loosen. The struggle begins to soften. And you begin to breathe again. This is the quiet gift of acceptance. It doesn't erase sadness, but it makes sadness livable. It makes space for both grief and grace, both ache and awe, gratitude and struggle. You don't have to keep resisting. You're safe to feel. You're safe to soften. Sadness does not leave you empty. It leaves behind traces of wisdom. It carves depth into the soul. Struggle does not only wound, it strengthens the quiet parts of you, the ones that endure when no one is watching. Pain has a way of shaping tenderness. Those who have known sorrow often hold others more gently. Their hands carry both ache and compassion. You may not see it now, but your sadness has been teaching you. Teaching patience, empathy, resilience. Each tear has watered the soil of understanding. Each sleepless night has softened your gaze toward others. Each heavy moment has stretched your capacity to care. Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is forged inside it. Quietly, slowly, unseen. Wisdom does not come from ease. It is born from questions. From sitting with the unknown and learning to listen, sadness teaches you to sit with stillness, to hear the unspoken, to find meaning in silence. Struggle humbles you, strips away pretense. It leaves what is most essential. In sorrow, you discover tenderness. In struggle, you discover strength. In both, you discover yourself. The cracks sadness leaves in you are not weaknesses. They are openings. Spaces where light and love can enter. Struggle gives you eyes for beauty, because you know what it means to long for relief, because you have learned to cherish what is fleeting. Tenderness blooms in broken soil. It cannot grow in untouched ground. Your ache has been the gardener. Those who have carried sorrow often become safe places for others, because they know the language of pain, because they know how to listen without fixing. Sadness can make you softer, but soft is not weak. Soft is strong enough to bend without breaking. The strongest hearts are often the gentlest, the ones that have endured loss and still choose love. Struggle sharpens clarity. You learn what matters most. You learn what can be released. Wisdom is often born in shadows. It grows in places where light is scarce, but it shines even brighter because of it. Struggle teaches endurance, not the kind that hardens, but the kind that learns to keep going with grace. Sadness opens you to connection. It reminds you of your humanity. It bridges you to others who carry similar aches. Tenderness is the hidden gift of grief. It makes you slower to judge, quicker to forgive. Strength does not roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it simply says, I will try again tomorrow. Wisdom does not always come with answers. Sometimes it comes with questions, with the humility to sit in mystery. Struggle carves depth, depth that cannot be faked, depth that others feel when they are near you. Sadness slows you down. It teaches you to notice small things. A kind word, a fleeting sunset, a quiet touch. Struggle can make you grateful, not in a forced way, but in a deep, abiding way. Tenderness makes the world safer. Your sadness has trained you to carry it, to offer it, to live it. Every struggle has shaped you. Every sorrow has left a gift. Even if you could not see it at the time, your heart holds more than you realize. Your spirit is stronger than you know. Your tenderness is your quiet courage. Strength, wisdom, tenderness, these are the treasures sadness leaves behind. These are the marks of a soul that has lived deeply, You are not broken by your struggle. You are remade by it. In ways both subtle and profound, pain has shaped your humanity. Struggle has softened your edges. Sadness has deepened your love. And in all of this, you are becoming a safe place for yourself and for others too. You are not failing because you still feel heavy. You are not ungrateful because joy is hard to touch. You're simply human, holding more than one truth. Gratitude and struggle can breathe in the same chest. They do not cancel each other. They coexist like night and day. You are allowed to feel both. You're allowed to rest in the middle. You're allowed to be unfinished. Healing is not about forcing light. It is about making room for shadows too. Both belong in the story of becoming. You do not need to hide your sadness. You do not need to fake constant joy. You are already enough, as you are. Gratitude does not mean denial. It does not erase grief. It simply offers a soft hand to hold beside it. Struggle does not make you unworthy. It makes you real. It makes you alive. You are not broken for carrying both. You're whole in the very act of it. Wholeness has always meant embracing contradictions, gratitude and grief, joy and sorrow, hope and ache. These are not opposites. They are partners. They are the rhythm of a human heart. You do not need to solve yourself. You do not need to hurry through. You only need to stay close to yourself here. Softness is strength. Sadness is teacher. Struggle is shaping you in quiet ways. Gratitude can live beside the ache. Does not demand that the ache vanish. It simply makes space for light. You are not weak for struggling. You are brave for facing what is real. Even when the world tells you to smile, you are not behind in your healing. You are exactly where you need to be, still growing, still unfolding. One day, you will look back and see the strength this season gave you and the tenderness it left behind. But today, it is enough just to be here, to breathe, to keep going, to honor what is true for you now. You can thank the small things, quiet morning, a kind word, and still admit your heart feels heavy. That is not contradiction, that is honesty. Your honesty is not a burden. It is a gift. It is what makes connection real. Someone else needs your truth. Someone else is waiting to feel less alone. And your honesty lights the way. You are not too much for feeling deeply. You are not ungrateful for still aching. You are human, and that is enough. Gratitude softens you. Struggle deepens you. Together, they make you whole. You do not have to choose between them. You do not have to pretend for anyone. You can carry both with quiet dignity. Your story is not lesser for including sadness. It is richer. It is more real. The truth is, joy and grief belong together. They weave the tapestry of a full life. They make the picture complete. Do not fear your ache. Do not silence your struggle. They are as sacred as your gratitude. Life is not meant to be neat. It is meant to be lived. In all its contradictions and colors, you are doing enough. You are being enough. You are becoming enough. Gratitude does not erase your humanity. Struggle does not diminish your worth. Both can sit beside you as companions. In this moment, let yourself breathe. Let yourself soften. Let yourself be as you are. You are not asked to be perfect. You are not asked to be happy all the time. You are asked only to be real. And being real is more than enough. Always has been. Always will be. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.